Hi, I'm Austin.
I'm Alex,
You're listening to One Last Breath, an autopsy of awful albums.
where we discuss controversial, bizarre, divisive, and downright abysmal albums.
This week's episode, we'll be talking about one of the worst, at least according to Wikipedia, albums of all time, Streets in the Sky by British indie rockers The Enemy. Released May 21st, 2012, it holds some of the worst critic scores of any album you'll see, which is... We'll get to it, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre.
The career of The Enemy started off promising enough. They formed in 2006 with Tom Clark on lead vocals, guitar, and piano. Andy Hopkins. I was an Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins on bass and vocals. Liam Watts on drums, and quickly signed to Warner Brothers Records after sending in a 3-song demo to the label.
Yeah, I feel like they have the most just NPC names of all time. Like Tom Clark.
I mean, they're British.
Andy Hopkins. Yeah, I mean, their names kind of sound British. The average British and NPC.
Average British NBC. I love Elder Scrolls. In 2007, they supported bands such as the Rolling Stones, Oasis, and Manic Street Preachers in their UK tours. That same year, on July 9th, their debut album was released, titled We'll Live and Die in These Towns. It's a pretty big success, debuting at number 1 on UK charts and having 3 top 20 hits. And the song Aggro is even featured in Guitar Hero World Tour. It received positive reviews from critics. I don't remember that song at all.
I listened to it. I listened to some of their other stuff I'll get to, but I listened to that and I kind of remembered it. It was kind of one of those songs on Guitar Hero where it's like you play it in story mode and you never play it again. At least for me, like
Yeah, at that point, by the time World Tour came out, I wasn't yet a Britpop enjoyer.
Really? We didn't listen to Oasis when World
Not
Tour
really.
came
I didn't get into Oasis until I was, let's see, World Tour came out in what,
World
like 08,
out?
09?
Yeah, I think 08.
I got into Oasis when I was like 13, so it was a little bit after that.
Okay.
But I remember exactly what got me into Oasis was Comcast on-demand music videos had Wonderwall.
Well, we must have. When did we go through that phase where we were obsessed with like 80s and 90s one-hit wonders and we would watch like the VH1 countdowns? I mean, Oasis wasn't a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, Oasis
but
wasn't on that, but we were really into one-hit wonders. But
I feel like we definitely knew Wonderwall, but
we
yeah.
knew Wonderwall, but like
Probably nothing else, I guess. Yeah.
I just remember finding Wonderwall and being like, I'm gonna make this my entire personality for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And here I am, like 13 years later, and it's my entire personality for the rest of my life.
It'd be like that.
The band's second album, Music for the People, came out 2 years later on April 27th, 2009. They described it on their MySpace blog as having a
Rawr.
a more
A
raw,
Rawr XD sound.
a more raw, I can't say that.
A more
From the
SmackDown
South.
versus Raw sound.
A more raw sound and a punkier sound than their debut, as it was recorded all on tapes rather than digitally.
Now that is a weird Rawr.
We're from the South, don't judge us.
Rawr. Rawr.
Some critics saw the sophomore effort as an improvement. However, most outlets rated the album lower than the debut. The album also garnered accusations of plagiarism, as multiple songs held similarities to the likes of Kashmir by Led Zeppelin and London Calling by The Clash, among others.
Yeah, one song on there sounds exactly like London Calling. It's like, bruh.
You're allowed to steal from British people. It's okay.
You're allowed to steal. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
They made an entire culture to stealing. It's okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that brings up today's main topic, Streets in the Sky. As mentioned earlier, it has received incredibly negative reviews. Album of the Year rated it as the worst album of 2012 as reviewed by critics. The aggregate score on Any Decent Music, which is a place I've never heard of, is 2.9 out of 10, which makes it the 5th lowest rated album of all time according to the site. John Calvert of Drowned in Sound gave the album an absolutely scathing 0 out of 10 review, best summed up with this quote. This is a low point in British guitar music. For pity's sake, delivers from evil. So blank, so generic, it's borderline abstract. A dreamy alienation afflicts you on first listen. It is the end times for this type of music. I mean, I haven't... I can only think of one more, like, Britpop band after them, and it's the 1975.
Yeah, I guess so. Are they British?
I thought so.
I have no idea. All I know is that one dude from them dated Taylor Swift, I think.
I don't know. They
Didn't he?
make British music.
I know he like dated Taylor Swift, and I've heard he's kind of like low key racist or something. I don't know. Something's weird
Something
with
like that. Yeah, I remember seeing TikToks about that.
him. That's all I know about him.
In a 2 out of 10 review from Bryce Ezel of Pop Matters says about the album. Streets in the Sky manages to be both energetically boring and affable to the point of being completely inoffensive. Sure, you can pump your fists in the air to match the guitar riffs, but after one song, you'll find yourself wondering if the Enemy are ever going to change up their formula. Spoiler alert, they don't. The half-singing, half-shouting technique of vocalist Tom Clark loses its power after a few minutes in, as does the punchy distortion of his guitar, which for a moment could have given Streets in the Sky a modicum of edginess. When stripped down to their most basic form, the Enemy really are a watered-down punk band. User Ali W 1993 of Sputnik Music, I trust this guy. He was born in 93.
93.
Gave the album a 2 out of 5, giving minor praises to the first 2 tracks on the album, then continued to say, from then on in, however, the record steeply descends into the type of mindless drivel that's given the Enemy and bands of their ilk such a bad name. There's no innovation or creativity here, that goes without saying, but what we are entitled to expect is to hear the band pushing themselves, or at the very least striving to dabble out of a comfort zone, which has already proven itself to be severely limited. Instead, the masked... I'm having trouble reading today, y'all. Instead, the vast majority of Streets in the Sky comes across as an exercise in turgid laziness. God, this guy uses a lot of, like... They're not kind of big words, but they're...
Just, like, obsolete words. Not really obsolete.
He's being very poetic.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I heard someone say turgid.
Or ilk.
Or what was the other one? The person before him said, or before him or her, I don't know who Ali 93 is, fucking... What was the word? They said something weird, and I was like,
I don't know. But, like, yeah, we're getting a lot of words that I'm not used to reading.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was I? Instead, the vast majority of Streets in the Sky comes across as an exercise in turgid laziness. It is catchy in places, that much is undeniable, but its hooks are utterly devoid of both taste and substance, meaning that for what initial appeal it has, the record holds precisely no staying power. That's a pretty... These have all been really scathing reviews.
Say pretty spot on for the most part.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to
it. After Streets in the Sky, the Enemy went on to release its 4th album, It's Automatic, in 2015, to mixed and positive reviews. They then went on hiatus in 2016 and reunited in 2022, doing a comeback show and a subsequent 15-year anniversary tour for their debut album, We'll Live and Die in These Towns. And that is really all we have about
The Enemy.
The Enemy. I was like, The Edge.
The Edge.
I forgot the name of the band for a second.
But yeah, something else I forgot to say. They apparently made a musical out of We'll Live and Die in These Towns, which is very odd to me.
Was it a good album? Did you listen to that album at all?
Well, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get into that. I was gonna listen to their first 2 albums completely, but kind of like how I did with the last episode for Megadeth. Yeah. But I didn't, even though it's only 2 albums, because one, about 2 songs into both of the albums, they're really essentially just like Streets in the Sky to me.
Okay, they're the same.
Like, they were, especially the first one was, We'll Live and Die in These Towns was the music for the people or whatever was a little different, but all in all, that kind of, I don't know why exactly this is so shit on, because to me it sounds pretty much like anything else they had done, but either way, yeah, I listened to like the first couple of songs of both of the albums, and I kind of skipped around and listened to a little more, so but either way, kind of a weird album to make a musical out of, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was also that I saw an EP of the same name as this album.
Streets in the Sky?
Yes. And it had a cover of, I think, like One Headlight or something on it. Where he, like, vastly, like, over-dramatized his accent. I saw that, because I was, like, when I first... I'm going to go and spoil something. I like this album well enough. After first listen, I was like, this is a pretty good album, and it changed after a few more listens, of course, but, so I went to Rate Your Music to be like, okay, why are people shitting on this? Mm-hmm. And found a bunch of positive reviews, too.
Yeah, there was some in there. I dug through there a little bit.
But someone mentioned that they really like the EP of the same name more than the album. I didn't get a chance to listen to the EP.
So they did an EP and just named it the same thing?
Yeah, apparently it has most of the same songs, but it also had like a cover on it.
Huh, interesting. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but on Spotify, they have two separate pages. And their Streets in the Sky is on its own like page. That's the only album on there. But then their other page has their other two albums. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't have Streets in the Sky on it. And that one's fucking what is it? Certified? Like it has a little check
Yeah,
mark.
that
Like
one
it's
has-
the official page.
So the one with all their other albums has 201,003 monthly listeners, and Streets in the Sky has 11,000 monthly listeners.
Not bad for one album.
I mean,
we're about
wow.
10,000 of those listens. But yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, I guess they tried to bury it. I don't know if like they made that page themselves or if somebody, I don't know exactly. But I thought that was
I'm
funny.
gonna follow Streets in the Sky the anime.
Oh my god! But either way, yeah. What are your first thoughts on the album?
It's really samey throughout,
Mhm.
and his accent is kind of forced and over exaggerated at times.
Yeah,
But overall, I don't think it's a great album. I don't think it's a bad album.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with you for the most part. There's only two songs on here that I think are like complete shit, but the rest is pretty much like the most like the definition of mid to me. Like nothing's amazing.
I didn't even find any songs that I would call shit. Like I don't have. I'm gonna go and spoil it. I don't have any least favorite songs.
Okay.
I think the worst songs are just as bad as the other worst. Like the album's just mid or good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say that I don't like. I guess I'm not like the target audience for this type of music.
I am.
Like, I mean, I listen to some, like I like Oasis, but in terms of like newer British indie rock or just indie rock in general, like the Strokes, the Vines, like shit like that. I know like a couple of songs by all those bands, and it's just not my thing. Like I don't hate it. But
Yeah, that's all shit that I was really into for a brief moment in high
Yeah.
school. So I mean, I'm kind of the audience for. I'm surprised I haven't heard of this album earlier.
Yeah,
honestly.
so I guess I'll say that. So I don't really have much of a basis to compare a lot of it to because I've never listened to any full albums in this kind of realm besides Arctic Monkeys for whatever reason. I've always liked them a
Everyone
lot.
got really into the Arctic Monkeys.
You what?
Everyone got really into the Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've listened like AM or whatever, and I think that's what it was called, AM. That came out
Something
like
like that.
2013. Then the one with like Fluorescent Adolescent and shit like that. Like I feel like those are probably the only two albums I've heard by bands in this realm in full. So that's really all I had to compare it to. But even comparing it to that, like this just felt like forced, I guess, and shoehorned. Like I don't know. Like it, like you said, it's not anything completely awful. But
but it's nothing special.
it's just mid. Like most of it just makes me feel like it should be in the. Like it sounds like the soundtrack to like a late 2000s teenage comedy movie
yeah,
or something.
it's
like,
an album of B-sides.
Yeah, like if it feels like any of those bands that I mentioned, like the Strokes, etc., could have made most of these songs in like
Yeah,
10 minutes.
there was one song where I was like, this could be a Decemberist song if it was just acoustic
Okay.
and had better lyrics.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say for the most part, everything is just like mid for me, like just straight like take it or leave it. Like the instruments are okay, the songwriting's okay, the choruses for the most part are just okay. Like the only things that besides the two songs that I really dislike, the only things in the album that I feel like are more negative leaning towards me is the lyrics and Tom Clark's vocals. Like
His vocals they're so forced.
it works for some songs,
Yeah.
but he tries to do the same thing for every song on the album for the most part.
As opposed to like Oasis also did like some of the like the forced like look at me I'm British.
Yeah, I mean it's not even like there's only one song that I'll get to that I'll point out where he does something that I'm just like fuck, where he's like trying to force his accent really heavily. I'm not even saying like his accent really. It's mostly just like they were saying like the half singing, half shouting. Like it's like he's trying to go for a punk vibe when the songs aren't punk.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's like it just didn't work for me for a lot of the album.
Alrighty, well, let's get into the track by track. We'll start with "Gimme the Sign."
Say it starts off the album on a pretty high point.
It's a pretty solid opener. It's very very Britpop.
Yeah, it is.
It really sets the scene for what you're getting into, but like not like jingle pop Britpop, but like Oasis, like heavy Oasis.
Yeah, like
Like kind of like "Don't Look Back in Anger," but a little heavier.
I'm about to say "Don't Look Back in Anger" is pretty.
I consider that one of their heavier songs.
I mean, I guess heavy for Oasis.
Heavy for Oasis. I can't even think of like the heavy Oasis song because they do have some heavy songs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what to compare a lot of this to. Maybe like Brainstorm by Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, I guess it is like kind of Arctic Monkey. It's like Arctic Monkeys and Oasis had a fucking child who doesn't know how to play music.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, it kind of a lot of it feels like it touches Britpop and also like garage rock revival shit, like
It also
like the White Stripes or Jet, like shit like that.
and there are some parts on the album where it kind of hits like post-punk new wavy.
Okay.
That I'll point. I have a couple things that I can point out,
Okay.
and I was like, this is weird in the context of the album.
Yeah, and again, I'll say it. All of these genres we're listing is shit that I'm like not well versed in at all.
It's
like,
unfortunate. It's literally all shit that I'm really really into.
Yeah, like I don't hate any of those things. I've never leaned on that side of the rock spectrum, I guess. Like
Yeah, like it's really funny because like my favorite album is "What's the Story, Morning Glory," which gives me the Britpop, and then my favorite band is The Cure.
Yeah.
So I'm really into post-punk and new wave. So
I mean,
like,
yeah, any post punk, like I definitely know The Cure the most out of any post punk band, but even then, I'm like I don't even scratch the surface with knowing like all their shit. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent opener, like fast paced, kind of like people are saying in the reviews, like kind of punkish.
it's pretty punky. Like the subject matter is something that Oasis would absolutely have written a song about because it's all about fake hard people.
Fake hard, yeah. Yeah, I could see them writing something like that, but yeah, when I was the first listen, I was like, okay, like this, like it. I feel like it can't get any worse than this, which for the most part it didn't, but it also doesn't really get better. So
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's just unfortunately like 90% of the album kind of just feels like a rehash of the song for the most part, but. That leads us right into the Bigger Cages, Longer Chains, which, again...
It's very samey.
Yeah, decent enough, but it just feels really similar to Give Me the Sign.
My first listen, I was just like, damn, this opening track is really long.
Yeah, essentially, like, you could interchange, like, any of the lyrics, any of the guitar parts, anything with any other of the songs for the most part, and it would just sound the same.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, like, Bigger Cages is a good song in the realm of songs that sound the same.
Mhm.
Of all of those, this is one of the highlights.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I do really like. There's this really good guitar melody. I think around the minute 10 mark that I really liked. That was like one of the few things on the album, like instrument wise, where I was like, oh, I actually really like that. Like it's not just the same chords over and over.
And then we get to Saturday, which is the third song that sounds the same.
Yeah, this is probably, I would say, the most uninspired song on the album.
It's pretty uninspired. It does have. There's a really cool riff during the chorus that sounds like a modern English riff, like kind of like the riff from "I'll Melt with You."
Oh, okay.
Or like one of their deeper cut. Like I've listened to like one or two modern English
I
albums.
think that's the only song I know by them.
That's the only song most people. I've listened to a couple of their albums. They're really good.
Yeah, when you said that name, I was like, wait, who is that? And then you said the song, and I was
Melt
like, oh
with You,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This one, like it, excuse me, like it sounds the same as the first two, but just the lyrics and the verses and everything just feel even more watered down. Like the verses are like very short.
Yeah.
Don't really say anything.
And the chorus is just Saturday, Saturday, we'll make it all okay.
What? Oh, yeah, like literally over and over and over. Like, I don't know, it feels like any band from the 2000s to the 2010s could have made this song in like 5 minutes. Like,
Anybody could be the enemy right here.
yeah, like this is the most, I mean, I'd say this album lacks personality, but this is one of the songs especially where I'm just like, I could see this being in a fucking like car commercial, like a commercial jingle writer could have just been like, oh yeah, let's imitate a Britpop band and make this song for our for our
100%.
commercial.
I do like the pre-chorus has an interesting vocal melody. I think it's like dun da 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 da
Yeah.
da 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 da.
hmm
That's a really cool melody.
Mhm.
I wish they would have done more with that and made that the chorus.
Yeah, that part was definitely better than the chorus. And speaking of the chorus, the way he said, like, this is the one caveat I have with his accent, like you were saying, is the way he says okay in the chorus got under my fucking skin. He was like, make it all okay. Like, I don't.
Oh.
But it's like he says it through his cheek or something. He's like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I don't know. It's like, I know.
It's really weird.
Like, as someone from East Tennessee, I'm not one to rag on
Oh
someone's
yeah,
accent.
I don't talk normal.
Yeah, like
but,
I don't want to rag on his accent,
But
like,
he talks like a cartoon character, I'm sure.
yeah, like this was definitely purposeful. Like just the way it was just so like all okay. Like,
Yeah, he really forces his accent.
Yeah, it got on my fucking nerves. Like the second time around the chorus, I was just like fuck.
Which like Britpop is known for forcing accents.
Yeah,
Oasis kind of does it too.
yeah. I mean, even like one of my favorite bands of all time, Green Day. He's not even Billy Joe isn't even fucking British, but people think he is because he kind of does, at least in their early stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of does like that wannabe British accent, but this just especially got on my nerves. Like I can handle it to a degree, but I don't know. It was like, I guess he was kind of sounding like the British Tom DeLonge. Where are you? And I'm not okay. But that goes into 1, 2, 3, 4.
It feels almost like a later Cure song.
Okay.
This
I
one
don't
is
think I've
very
heard later Cure.
poppy, like Friday I'm in Love
Oh, okay.
type shit. Where it's
Okay.
like pop, like new wave Cure instead of post punk Cure.
I guess that is later Cure because they're
Yeah.
old as fuck.
Yeah, that was like that was
like 20 years in their
The
career.
90s was Friday I'm in Love. It was like 92.
Yeah, early 90s. When did they start? Like late 70s?
Late 70s.
Okay, so like 15 years in their career
Yeah,
or so.
so
yeah.
like because it has like the driving bass and the delayed bum 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 stings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say this is one of the more catchier and better songs on the album, which isn't saying much, but
The chorus is super catchy. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember a single word from it.
yeah, that's the thing is like it's really hard. Like I'd say pretty much every song is catchy, but just not catchy enough to stay in your head afterwards. Like
There are some of them like Saturday gets in my head.
yeah, I think I mean there is some.
Two Kids get stuck in my head a couple times. Got stuck in my head a couple times.
Yeah, I'd say it probably took me by my third or fourth listen for shit to get stuck in my head. And the shit that got stuck in my head wasn't stuff that I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this. Like this chorus, it was shit like Saturday where it got on my fucking nerves. So, yeah, it was, I guess that just speaks to the mid nature of the album. Like, it's catchy, but not catchy enough.
Yeah, it's not catchy enough at all.
Like, it's performed good enough, but not spectacularly. Like, it's just kind of there.
Then we get into Like a Dancer. It's pretty mid.
Yeah, I really got nothing to say about this one. I mean, it is mid. I don't know. By this point of the album, it's kind of giving me the same feel as Alien Rap did. Like,
Yeah.
to where it's just the same thing over and over, and it's like, feels like I'm in a trance listening to it, like I'm fucking brainwashed, because it's just
Yeah.
the same thing song
I
after
will
song.
say the vocal melody is in the verse is pretty good. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was good enough for me to be like, this is a good vocal melody.
Mm-hmm.
The chorus is uninspired, but it's also like the same amount of catchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of reviews, I think it was this song, people were saying sounded like it could have been the Killers song.
Yeah.
Was it this one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if it was this one, but I can definitely see that.
I think it was either this one or Get Up and Dance. Because they both had dance in the title. I can't
It
remember.
could be either of them.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I got really nothing much.
Then we got
not
Come
bad.
Into My World, which is a pop punk song, but bad.
Yeah, this is another one where it's like, you thought the chorus of Saturday wasn't basic and just uninspired enough. This one is literally just, come on, come on, come on, come on into my world. That's the chorus. It's just, like, okay.
It's awful. It's dull. It's uninspired. It's bad Britpop.
Mm-hmm. Bad Britpop. And then This Is Real. This one changes the pace. It's more of a slower, more anthemic ballad type feel of a song. I guess I could say.
Yeah.
And a switch up was kind of welcomed at this point in the album for me.
Yeah, thank God.
But
I do think it's a boring track.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like with the drudgery this album fucking puts you through, I was like, oh, like when this song started, I was like, oh shit, okay, you know, not trying to go for that garage Brit punk feel of the rest of the album. Like we're going for something more, I guess, trying to tug on my heartstrings a little bit or something, is what it feels like they're going for. But I don't know. I just think this is a far worse side of the band. Like this song and then Two Kids that comes after, those are the two that I like absolutely cannot fucking stand from this album. I hate both of these songs. Like
I will say the intro instrumental of This Is Real does sound like 99 Red Balloons. I don't know if you caught that.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, it's like before it gets into the dun 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 dun, it does like the dun dun, you know.
I can't
Okay,
remember.
there's like a really slow instrumental before 99 Red Balloons gets to the me and you in a little toy shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like the intro to this song sounds like that.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Like the song almost sounds like one of those really corny contemporary praise songs that they play at mega churches.
Oh my God, it does. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just think it completely fails at everything it sets out to do. Like it's not touching, deep, inspirational, moving. Like I feel like that's what it's trying to be, but it just falls really flat. Like I don't know. It's just really bland, even more so than the attempted punk of the first half of the album for me. Like I don't know. Every listen of this album when these two songs came around, I was just like, "Fuck, man."
Then we get into Two Kids, which is my favorite song on the album.
Really?
I
Oh God,
love this song. I'm a sucker for coming of age songs.
this is my absolute least favorite song on the album.
I'm a sucker for coming of age songs, though.
I mean, I like what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind songs in this vein, like ballad, coming of age, like reminiscing songs. Like if they're done well, in my opinion, like I'll really love them. But I don't know, just this one, like I feel like they doubled down on everything I did not like about This Is Real. Like,
Oh no, this one's more of a Curie type thing.
yeah,
It's like The Cure. It's got a good instrumental.
I will say
The lyrics are mid, but I did almost cry once because I'm a fucking sucker for coming of age songs. I was like, what? They can't take our memories away from us.
Oh God, what is the? Do you know what instrument that was in the song that was playing at the beginning?
No idea. I don't even remember it.
It sounded like some sort of like steel instrument, like.
I'll have to
I don't
re-listen
know.
to the song and figure it out.
It was
but-
a xylophone. No, I don't know what it was, but that was the only time they used whatever the fuck it was on this album. But I don't know.
I really like this song.
I just didn't like it. I don't know. Like the lyrics didn't work for me.
The chorus is so catchy.
Like two
Kids in a dirty old chat, dirty old flat. They will never get back. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really glad that they didn't go, like, they didn't stay on this track. Like, they took a pretty big left turn with these two tracks, and I'm glad they kind of just went back to what they were doing in the beginning for the rest of the album.
I think just doing Two Kids would have been fine. I think the album could have just been Two Kids, and I would have been happy.
Oh, God. The average Two Kids enjoyer. Oh, wait, that doesn't sound right.
Oh no. Then we get to Turn It On. The guitar is super fuzzed out in this song.
Is it? I don't.
It was like brrrr.
I don't remember, but yeah, I guess so. I literally have no notes for this album or for this song.
The verse is boppy and it had me dancing a little bit, but the chorus is so repetitive it ruins the entire song. It's like turn it on, turn it on, turn it on, you'll never do.
Yes, I do remember that because that I thought of No 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 by My Chemical Romance.
And then, you know the worst part? It goes into the
Yeah,
I don't actually remember if it does or not, but
I don't
probably.
know. Probably, like
Every song has the
yeah.
Sorry, listeners, that we're singing a lot, but like it's the only way that we can get across what this which song is which.
Yeah, I feel like they like the whoa-oh-ohs and the na-na-nas more than fucking Blink-182 does.
Yeah.
Like,
This is very, like, pop punk in that way,
exactly.
but not pop punk in being good.
Yeah.
Generic Britpop doesn't have the same ring as generic pop punk.
Yeah, exactly. And then It's a Race.
It sounds the same to the beginning again.
As what?
It sounds the same as the beginning again.
Oh, okay.
It's just more of side A.
Yeah, exactly.
It has a cool solo.
Okay, I don't remember the solo.
I barely remember it, but it was cool
It was
enough for me
cool.
to say it was a nice little solo.
It's cool. Yeah, all I have to say is that the main vocal melody of the chorus and the main lead guitar part like sounded very, very familiar to me, but I couldn't put my mind to what it was. It sounded like something that was in the 80s, 90s, like post-punk Britpop.
Yeah.
So probably was something that they ripped off like they did London Calling on the album
Probably.
before this.
Then we get into Get Up and Dance. It sounds like a 1975 song, but in a good way.
In a good way.
I'm not a 1975 fan. The bass is like really nice and fat.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. The chorus was super catchy and it really made me want to get up and dance. I'd say it's one of the better songs on the album.
Okay. I didn't get either.
Yeah, no notes for it.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
notes.
Yeah, that and Turn It On, I struggled.
I got my notes for like half these songs last night on break at work. I was like, I gotta fucking finish these notes.
Yeah, the first two listens of the album, I got not a single thing except for some of my opening thoughts, and then the third listen I got most of it. Fourth listen I got some more, and then I was like, for those two songs I was like, I literally can't think of anything to say. Sadly, like I just.
Then we get to Make a Man, which is the weakest album closer.
Yeah,
It sounds the same as the beginning again.
yeah, they didn't do anything with it. The chorus, which people in reviews pointed out, sounds a lot like Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash.
Oh, so it doesn't go make a man, make a man, make a man.
man.
Well,
It would have been better if it did that. But yeah, I can't remember how it went, but it was like dun 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 dun. Like it sound, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
The first listen through I didn't, and then second listen through I was like, wait, what does this sound like? And I was like, oh yeah, people said that this sounded like Ring of Fire, and it does. But yeah,
it's not a terrible track. I just can't find anything nice to say about it after half the track sounding like it.
Yeah, it's like they did not attempt to go out with at least a bang for like I feel like
They went out with a whimper.
like I feel like even though I hated Two Kids and This Is Real, I feel like one of those would have been a better album closer,
Yeah.
because it like have one of those at the midpoint of the album, then have the other one at the close. Like I feel like that would have been better, but it just
Instead of sandwiching it between the entire album is sandwiched between two songs that sound exactly the same.
yeah, exactly. It's like it feels like we just end the album the same way we started it. Like
Yeah.
nothing is resolved, but
I've only got 2 lyrics.
okay, I feel like we might have the same one because I only have one.
My first one is he's acting like he's Tupac, but he's never seen a gun.
Yeah, from Give Me the Sign. That's all I got.
My other one is less funny because of what it is, but more funny in the context. Burned, No Job, No Same Old Song. Which is funny because all they do is same old song.
Yeah, same old song for the whole entire fucking album.
And that's all I got for that.
What about your favorite songs?
2 Kids and Get Up and Dance.
Okay. Mine are Give Me the Sign. I picked 3 because I was like, I don't know. I was
Give
like,
Me the Sign probably goes on there too.
Yeah, give me the Sign, Bigger Cages, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the only ones. I mean, I wouldn't go back and listen to them at all, but
The average not Britpop enjoyer.
but if I had to listen, if someone forced me to fucking put 3 of these songs on my playlist, I guess those would be the 3. And then my least favorite songs, I've already said, are This Is Real and 2 Kids, like by
I don't
far.
really have a least favorite song. I think the rest of the album is just the same level of mid.
Yeah. Yeah, the album pretty much is like those 2 for me. Just that left turn they took with the anthemic ballad feel of those 2 songs just didn't work for me. I fucking hated them. So, those are by far the worst for me. So, what would you rate this?
Well, what are aggregate scores?
Yeah, I didn't get that down.
Oh no.
I think it's
I think it's low.
it definitely is low. Rate Your Music, Streets in the Sky. Streets. I'll go ahead and say that I think it's like 2 point. It's like barely above a 2.0.
Yeah, I want to say it's like a 2.2 on there, and that's out of 10, right?
No, Rate Your Music is out of 5.
Oh, really?
I
So
fucking
that's
I wish they were out of 10. Like I think we said it before on a previous episode. Like I do not like out of 5. It
Out
gives
of-
you
yeah.
no leeway.
Yeah, out of 5 is like you get like a 2.2 out of 5 is a 4.4 out of 10. But like you have less room to play.
Yeah.
We should really be doing ratings out of a million so that you have so much room to play.
Out of a million. Yeah,
You get very granular.
I give this a 7.859 million out of 10 million. Oh wait, no, that didn't make sense. Anyways, but yeah, I don't like the out of 5 rating system because I'm like, if something's mid for me out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10, and then that would equate to a 3 out of 5. But I feel like
2.5.
Okay, yeah, 2.5.
But a lot of places don't do the point whatever. It's just like you have whole numbers. You have 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. And
Yeah, so it's like
that's what really becomes a problem.
Yeah, and it's like if I put it to 3, I feel like if I'm think it's really mid, I feel like I'm giving it too much praise. But then if I
You
knock
put
it down to 2,
it's like, oh, well, that
feels really low.
feels really that feels mean.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, that being said, it holds a 2.06 out of 5.
So that's a 4.12 out of 10.
Yeah, from only 109 ratings, which is surprising. But yeah, as we said, the aggregate score from Any Decent Music was like a 2.16 or something like that.
So we'll say the average about 4.1.
Mm. I would give it, if it didn't go on that detour for those 2 songs I hate, I would give it a straight 5 out of 10, like just right in the middle. But I guess I'll give it like a 4. I guess I'll get really to the decimal. I'll give it like a 4.8 out of 10.
Okay.
Those drag it down a little bit below mid grade for me.
I'm going to give it a 6 even, 6 flat.
Okay.
6 flat.
Okay.
It's better than mid for me. It's not a great album, but it is an album that I would listen to this album again.
Would you?
I would listen to this album at least one more time in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It's definitely nothing that I would be like offended if I had to hear it again. Like, it's not like fucking Lulu or something like that.
Yeah, like
But-
it's a fine enough album. Does it deserve one last breath? Yeah. Give it. I say give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot.
You might, especially if you're an Oasis, if you're a Britpop fan, if you like Oasis, if you like The Cure, if you like any of the other bands, I'm like, oh, this sounds like this. You're gonna find something that you're like, well, this is catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Have the experience and realize that like the people on the internet who are shitting on this album are just stupid.
They're just big old dummies.
They're just big old bills.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't really know why specifically out of their discography. Again, I didn't listen to the entirety of the 2 albums before this, but I feel like I listened to enough to get the gist of it. I don't know why this one is held in such low regard, because to me it was essentially the same thing as the first 2, which, I mean, I guess that's why. Like, I guess there was people that it seemed like their first album, We'll Live and Die in These Towns, was their most positively reviewed album, but even then it wasn't like a universal acclaim. Like, most of the scores were like around 6 to 8 out of 10 realm.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why, is because people really liked it and just were disappointed that they were rehashing the same thing over and over. But I'm like, I don't know. From seeing the score, it's like you would think that this is some of the worst fucking shit you could ever hear.
I was expecting. I don't even know what I was expecting.
like Lulu levels of bad,
Yeah.
or Father of All Motherfuckers level of bad.
Something that was so
Like, I guess
awful, it was like not even fun to listen to anymore. But this
Yeah.
was fun to listen to. It was catchy.
Yeah.
I danced a little bit. It's not like I'm not saying this is a great album. I'm not even saying this is a good album. I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like out of. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see like what those albums I mentioned before, like Father of All or Lulu, ranked out of that Any Decent Music list, but I know that the 5 albums below it, they weren't on that because this was like the 6th worst rated of all time. So I don't know where those fell, but I'm just like, damn, like the 5th worst rated album ever. Like, I don't really understand why this.
I think people just hate British music.
I guess, I don't know.
Because people also like Oasis, like What's the Story, Morning
They're
Glory
a pretty hot topic.
is such a hot topic. It's something that I would consider covering on the podcast at some point.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if we think we could, I'd be down with covering What's the Story.
Yeah, I mean, if we get far enough in covering shitty albums, yeah, because I mean, definitely.
What's the Story is a controversial album for sure. Because of
Yeah.
it's mostly because of Wonderwall. That's all people know.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, like I don't know. It's just like again, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Like, but I guess in all honesty, I would probably listen to not Lulu in its entirety, but some stuff off of Lulu before this, just because it's so bad that it's funny.
It's a little funny.
Like
Lulu's funny.
Yeah, like this is just so mid that I can't find much enjoyment. Like, yeah, some of it's catchy, but not enough for me to really enjoy any of it, and then it's not bad enough for me to have fun with.
I would listen to this over most of Hulk Rules.
What do you?
I would.
Get out. Hulk Rules is a masterpiece.
Mostly
Didn't we rate Hulk Rules like fucking 8 out of 10 or something?
I don't remember.
It's something like that.
But Hulk Rules is something you listen to with friends.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I would like if I was just sitting at home. I was like, man, I really want some Britpop. I'm not feeling Oasis.
I mean, yeah, you're not gonna put fucking Hulk Rolls on while you're playing fucking RuneScape or some shit. Like,
I fucking might.
I fucking might. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, I feel like out of anything we've covered on the podcast so far, this is probably the album I would be least likely to re-listen to, just because of just like I've said so many times, it's just so mid. Like, I can't find any enjoyment out of liking it or ironically listening to it.
Are you giving it CPR though?
I mean, I guess.
Do you think other people should listen to this album once?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I would give it one last breath. I'd say listen to it at least once, especially if you have seen the scores like us and are like, why the fuck is this so low? Like, listen to it and you'll probably. I feel like most people would agree with us and saying like
that it's
why.
Like it's between a 4.5 to a 6.
Yeah, like why is this so overly hated? Yeah, I'd say listen to it. I mean, yeah, if you're like Austin and are really into Britpop and all that shit.
Britpop, post-punk, like British music.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be more inclined to like it if you're like me and don't know much about...
Only into American music.
Only into American music. No, but someone who isn't really well-versed in those genres, I'd say you would probably fall more with me to where it's like, you don't love it, you don't hate it, it's just kind of there, but... Yeah, I'd say everybody should listen to it at least once. Give it a chance. Make your own opinion.
Alrighty, you heard it here. We'll see you next week with...
I actually don't know. We need to discuss
No idea.
that.
Something different.
We need to talk that over. See ya.